Welcome to About Mansfield. This is your audio newspaper. I'm Steve Casillo, broadcasting from the Somark Studios, along with the About Mansfield news team. Colleen Daniel, she's out there in Studio West. This is the November 6th, 2024, 247th edition. Coming up, it's Mansfield News, Talk, and Information.
And a little later in the episode, you will have a chance to win a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice with our Mansfield Trivia Question, courtesy of Joe Jenkins Insurance.
Let's take a look at the stories we're covering this week.
School board trustee under fire over candidate endorsement.
MISD celebrates Hall of Honor inductees.
Tarrant County saw more early voters than Dallas County.
Miar Road sees a light at the end of the construction tunnel. Boss Expo kicks off holiday shopping season. And in sports, it's a recap of Friday Night Lights, and it's playoff time for girls volleyball.
And in the talk segment, Steve concludes his talk with local author Pete Hermann. We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. This is About Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool Hand, Cool Hand, Cool Hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for luxury living with the feel of a resort? Discover Mason & Mill, the newest gem in apartment living. With stunning resort-style amenities, Mason & Mill redefines what it means to call a place home. Ask about our 8 weeks free special. Plus, don't miss out on the $1,000 resident referral program. When you love where you live, it's worth sharing. Managed by Willow Bridge Property Company, locally rooted and nationally respected since 1965. Mason & Mill, we create places you'll want to call home. Log on today at livemasonandmill.com. That's livemasonandmill.com.
Navigating the ever-changing real estate market can be exhausting. At the Hornburg Real Estate Group at One West, our team of experts help make the most of your home selling goals. From the ability to bring buyers multiple cash offers, offer different ways to sell your home, and even offer pay-at-close vendors, we help you get top dollar. We have a robust marketing strategy to ensure you always have options to get your home sold in the way that makes the most sense for you. Each agent at the Hornburg Real Estate Group has been expertly trained and has years of experience behind them. Find out why our clients consistently rate us 5 stars year after year. Call or text us at 817-264-7087. Again, that's 817-264-7087. Or visit us online at homesbyhrg.com.
Hi, this is Teresa Cohagen, Director for Visit Mansfield, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. This portion of the news is brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Mansfield ISD School Board President Kezia Farrar is facing criticism after endorsing David Cook for Texas House District 96 in a recent campaign mailer. Farrar appeared in a photo on school district property and voiced support for Cook, a Republican incumbent. This move raised concerns among some parents and a fellow board member who argue that her endorsement blurs the line between her official role and personal views. They cite board policy, which prohibits endorsements by the board as a whole and designates the president as the board's spokesperson. Parents who contacted the Star-Telegram believe Farrar's endorsement, made in her capacity as board president, implies board support. However, the district's response, backed by legal counsel, argues that Farrar was acting as a private citizen and not on behalf of the board, despite the mailer attributing her statement to her official title. The district clarified that Farrar's endorsement does not represent the board's views. Trustee Dr. Jandel Crutchfield stated that Farrar's actions might mislead the public to believe the endorsement was from the board. She emphasized that the board did not agree to back any candidate. Attorney Steve Dubner advises Texas school districts and agreed that the mailer could create a misleading impression, but did not confirm it constituted a policy violation. Representative Cook said the endorsement was clearly Farrar's personal view and not a board decision.
The Mansfield ISD Hall of Honor inducted a new class of honorees on Saturday, celebrating achievements by former athletes, coaches, and contributors to the district's sports programs. This year's inductees were celebrated at a ceremony held at the Center for the Performing Arts. Their photos and bios will be displayed in the community room at Vernon Newsom Stadium. Among this year's honorees was Candy Harvey, the first girls basketball coach at Timberview High School. Harvey led the Lady Wolves to a Class 4A state championship in 2010. The 2011 Mansfield High boys golf team was also recognized. Colton Crawford, Andy Arians, Andre Garcia, Luke Neely, and Hayden Frederick. That's the team that secured Mansfield ISD's first state title in boys golf. Mansfield High girls basketball phenom Kyla Hill Taggart, legacy track and field star Kayla Taylor, and Summit volleyball standout Camille Cherry Smith were also recognized.
Thousands of Mansfield residents cast their ballots during early voting in what has been called one of the most important elections in recent history. The Texas Secretary of State's office reports that Tarrant County saw more in-person early voters than Dallas County in 2024, according to unofficial totals. Over 635,000 votes were cast in Tarrant County, compared to 633,000 in Dallas County. But Dallas voters love their mail-in ballots a little more than those in Tarrant County. Dallas County reported over 26,000 mail-in votes returned, compared to Tarrant County's 23,000. The total early voting numbers in Dallas and Tarrant counties were down from 2020, when Texans got an extra week to vote early due to the COVID pandemic.
Colleen, it's been a long time coming, but Miar Road is one step closer to completion. Traffic signals at Miar Road at the Seaton Road and Gren Meadow intersections began flashing red on Tuesday of last week to familiarize drivers with the signal's implementation. Miar Road is undergoing improvements to become a 4-lane concrete roadway with enhanced drainage, curb, and gutter systems. A parallel open channel on the west side will handle drainage from Grand Meadow Boulevard to a detention area north of Lake Ridge High School. The project includes sidewalks, pedestrian crossings near MISD school sites, and upgraded signals at key intersections. Reconstruction of MISD ponds near Broad Street is progressing as weather permits, alongside phased installation of water lines and drainage structures. Paving is mostly complete, with work ongoing at driveway connections in coordination with property owners. Traffic has shifted to the center lanes to allow work along the road edges, with Miar Road now open to one lane in each direction. It's becoming an annual event here in Mansfield. It is called the Mom Boss Expo. We are a proud sponsor of the Mom Boss Expo, and with us on the phone to give us some details, because it's coming up soon, Mariah Dietrich, welcome back to About Mansfield.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about the Mom Boss Expo. You did it last year. You've done it now a few years. And tell the listeners about the expo that's coming up.
Yeah, we've been doing the expo since 2019. So this is our 9th event. This is our holiday edition. We do 2 a year. So we have a spring edition, which is in April, which is what you were a part of earlier in the year. And then this one is our holiday event. Our holiday event is probably my favorite because Santa is there, but we have over 70 vendors. The majority of them are local moms and women who own their own small business. That's why it's called the Mom Boss Expo. And they are, like I said, they're all pretty local to Mansfield or like Burleson, Arlington, just kind of like surrounding area. But yeah, we have over 70 vendors. They will be either offering service-based stuff where you can buy like passes or gift cards or bundles, or we have a lot of goods and crafters. We've got bakers. We've got all kinds of businesses joining us. We have Santa, who's going to be there for free pictures from 12 to 2. And we also have a lot of other activities going on between 12 and 2.
You've been doing this since 2019. Why did you start the Mom Boss Expo?
I was not I guess you could say, original founder. I mean, I kind of am. I was part of a group of ladies back in 2019. So I was a part of a group of ladies who just wanted to put something together to advertise their own businesses to Mansfield. At the time, I was a massage therapist with a private massage practice. And so we had started it, and I was a vendor myself for my massage business. And then over the years, I've just kind of, the other ladies who had originally started with me, just they kind of fell off, and it was like a one-time thing for them. But I saw a lot of potential with it, and I just wanted to keep going and growing with it. I'm no longer a vendor myself with the event. I do just solely direct it and market it and all that good stuff. Now we use it to support our community as well, which is something we started last year, and I really love that aspect of the expo.
So the Mom Boss Expo, it's a great place to get your holiday shopping started. Tell people where it's going to take place, the date and the hours.
This Saturday, November 9th, it is from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then it is at 1218 East Debbie Lane. You're probably more familiar with it being at the St. John Lutheran Church. We use their gym and their parking lot to host the venue. We have a lot of fun stuff going on between 12 and 2. So if you can't make it there in the beginning, that's totally fine. Come around the prime time, which is at 12. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're really excited.
The Mom Boss Expo 2024, a great way again to get a jump start on your holiday shopping. It's this Saturday, November 9th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you can get there between noon and 2, you're going to see some wonderful stuff. Mariah, always a pleasure to have you on the podcast. We are excited to be a sponsor of the Mom Boss Expo, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. We greatly appreciate it.
It's the final week in high school football season, and we'll talk about it because sports is next.
Are you ready to create unforgettable memories? Picture this: an enchanting event venue nestled amidst breathtaking landscapes with panoramic views right here in Mansfield. The Grandview Event Center is the perfect setting to bring your vision to life. From intimate gatherings to large-scale extravaganzas, the Grandview has flexible spaces to accommodate any occasion, be it a wedding reception, corporate Christmas party, or community gathering. Book your next unforgettable experience at thegrandviewmansfield.com. That's thegrandviewmansfield.com. The Grandview Event Center, where memories are made and dreams become reality. Book your event today.
Hey, it's Steve Casillo, and are you ready to make your voice heard? Want to bring out your ideas to life through captivating conversations and engaging visuals? Look no further than Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio, your one-stop destination for award-winning audio and video podcast recording. Equipped with cutting-edge microphones, crystal clear audio recording, and high-definition cameras, we're here to turn your ideas into engrossing content. But it's not just about the equipment. We're dedicated to bringing out the best in your content. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, we're here to elevate your podcasting game. We'll even help you with intro music, transitions, voiceover, and that professional polish that sets your podcast apart. So whether you're into interviews, storytelling, or simply sharing your expertise, Podcast Mansfield can help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Visit podcastmansfield.com. Podcast Mansfield, where creating your podcast masterpiece has never been easier.
At Methodist Mansfield Medical Center, we've been caring for our home team for over 15 years. Today, you'll find award-winning physicians on the medical staff, advanced neurosurgery, a Level 3 trauma center, critical care for newborns, and comprehensive orthopedic care. Methodist Mansfield, delivering the care our friends, neighbors, and home team depend on. That's community, and why so many people trust Methodist.
In sports, the Legacy Broncos had a strong outing last week, defeating crosstown rival Lake Ridge Eagles 38-14. Legacy increased their overall season record to 3-7, while the Eagles fall to 1-8. Also in the win column for the week was Timberview, having downed the Colony Cougars 23-15. The Wolves have finished their season at 6-4. Elsewhere, Summit defeated Everman 21-0, leaving the Jags at 5-4 overall this season, and your Mansfield Tigers fall to 7-2 with the loss to undefeated North Crowley. Looking ahead, it's the final week of the regular season for 3 MISD. Summit plays at Seguin Thursday night. Lake Ridge travels to Boswell, and it's homecoming for your Mansfield Tigers as they host Weatherford Kangaroos at Newsom Stadium this Friday night. Timberview and Legacy have bye weeks this week, meaning their season's done. All games, as always, kick off at 7 p.m. Checking the highs and lows from around the state, the highest scoring game, Prosper and Princeton posted a score of 84-41. The lowest scoring game in the state, Somerville, took care of McDade 2-0. And the biggest goose egg of the week, McLean routed Afton Patton Springs 86-0. In other sports, it's playoff time for the girls volleyball. Legacy played a by-district match against Keller Monday night, was knocked out of contention with a 3-0 decision. All eyes are now on the first place Lake Ridge Lady Eagles, who ended the regular season with an 11-1 record in district play. The Eagles played Fort Worth's VR Eaton Tuesday night in by-district play. The game started past our writing deadline. You can find the results of the game on our Facebook page. If you have a comment about the show, the news, whatever's on your mind locally, you can find us by voicemail at 817-435-2938. Think of it as your letter to the editor. That voicemail number again is 817-435-2938. This coming Thursday, November 7th, is National Men Make Dinner Day, a lighthearted event designed to encourage men who usually don't step up and cook in the kitchen and prepare a meal. It was created back in 2001 by Sandy Sharkey with the goal of breaking stereotypes and making cooking enjoyable for everyone. The day isn't meant for men who already love to cook, like yours truly, rather for those who are new to the kitchen, giving them a chance to learn some basic skills. Sharkey even lists some humorous rules, such as participants must cook without help, use at least 4 ingredients, and clean up afterwards. Certain shortcuts like takeout, leftovers, barbecue are off limits. To celebrate this Thursday, guys, pick up a recipe, shop for the ingredients, set the damn table, and enjoy the process. It's all about having fun and exploring the joy of cooking.
Coming up after the break, we turn the page to the features section.
I'm Angel Biasatti with Methodist Mansfield News to Know, and we'll be talking about junk food. Junk food, it's just bad for your body.
Curious how you can make a big impact on curb appeal with a small budget? I'm Angela Hornburg, and we'll talk about it in the Mansfield Real Estate Update.
In this week's Cocktail of the Week, I'll be talking about a cocktail that's more bipartisan than a swing state and smoother than a politician's promise.
We are Mansfield's only source for news, talk, and information. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
This portion of the news was brought to you by the Grandview Event Center in Mansfield.
Hey there, it's Luke from Cool Hand Electric. Are you tired of dealing with plugs or lights that just won't cooperate? Well, don't fret. Give us a call. Worried about power outages or surges damaging your precious electronics? We've got you covered. Whether it's a whole house generator or surge protection, our solution-oriented Cool Hands are ready to tailor the perfect option that suits your needs and budget. At Cool Hand Electric, excellence is still cool.
Cool hand, cool hand, cool hand, where excellence is still cool.
Looking for luxury living with the feel of a resort? Discover Mason & Mill, the newest gem in apartment living. With stunning resort-style amenities, Mason & Mill redefines what it means to call a place home. Ask about our 8 weeks free special. Plus, don't miss out on the $1,000 resident referral program. When you love where you live, it's worth sharing. Managed by Willow Bridge Property Company, locally rooted and nationally respected since 1965. Mason & Mill, we create places you'll want to call home. Log on today at livemasonandmill.com. That's livemasonandmill.com.
Congratulations to Joanna King, who knew that the now defunct Mansfield News Mirror newspaper was formerly known as the Mansfield Chronicle. When we come back, this week's trivia question. I'm Colleen Daniel, and this is About Mansfield.
Hi, this is Joe Jenkins with Joe Jenkins Farmers Insurance, specializing in auto, home, commercial, and life insurance. I was born and raised here in Mansfield, Texas. We're active in the community, and Mansfield's a town we really care about. Our office has over 30 years experience in the insurance industry, and we're passionate about what we do and about customer service. For a free quote, please visit our website at joejenkinsinsurance.com or give us a call at 817-472-6058. Once again, that website is joejenkinsinsurance.com.
It's time right now for the highly coveted, wildly popular About Mansfield Trivia Question. If you are the first person to email the correct answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com, you will receive a $25 gift card to a Mansfield restaurant of your choice. It's brought to you by Joe Jenkins Insurance. Whether you're looking for homeowners, auto, commercial, or any other type of insurance, Joe has helped Mansfield area residents understand the insurance coverage that best fit their needs since 2010. You can find him on the internet at joejenkinsinsurance.com. I've mentioned this before. Not everyone wins on a Wednesday, so if you're listening on Thursday, Friday, or whenever, give it a shot. You might be taking home a $25 restaurant gift card. Colleen, it's your turn.
Well, Steve, since the late 1800s, Mansfield has had its fair share of lawmen protecting our city, including numerous sheriffs and marshals. This week's trivia question is, who is the Mansfield Police Department's current Chief of Police? Email your answer to trivia@aboutmansfield.com. Again, who is the current Chief of Police for the Mansfield Police Department? Good luck, and thanks to Joe Jenkins Insurance for the gift card.
Hi, I'm Stevie Dawn Carter, Executive Director of the Fleetwood Project, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield, your audio newspaper. Let's open up the features section. Angel Biasatti is here to talk about the pros and cons of junk food in Methodist Mansfield News to Know. Angel?
Today we're diving into the world of junk food. The ultra-processed foods that are high in fat, high sugar snacks that studies have shown have a negative impact on our brain and mental health, as well as health conditions like obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. In a recent study published in Cell Metabolism, scientists found that participants who ate a high-fat, high-sugar snack for 8 weeks had much higher brain activity in areas that create dopamine when they saw visual clues indicating they would receive this kind of snack. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that influences motivation, learning, expecting, and experiencing rewards. These are the similar effects of what people experience when using nicotine, alcohol, and other addictive drugs. The researchers also found that eating high-fat, high-sugar snacks affects how participants learn. Another study from Australia found that eating a breakfast high in saturated fats and added sugar was associated with reduced performance on learning and memory tests. In comparison, people who ate healthy did not see declines in their performance. Ultra-processed foods, while they might taste good, have found to have a negative impact on our mental health, and several studies find that diets high in fat content and sugar increase the risk of depression, anxiety, and sleep problems. So instead of that high-sugar, high-processed snacks, try fresh fruits and vegetables, or nuts and seeds. And don't forget to drink plenty of water. Your mind and body will thank you for the nutrients. Thanks for tuning in and happy snacking. I'm Angel Biasatti reporting for the About Mansfield podcast.
Angela Hornburg is here to address how to make a big impact on curb appeal on a small budget in the Mansfield real estate market update. Angela?
Curb appeal is one of the most underrated ways to help create an emotional response from buyers. There are several different ways to improve your home's curb appeal on a budget. The first way to increase curb appeal is to trim and shape bushes so that they do not cover more than half the length of your windows. This allows the front architectural elements to shine through, and it allows for light to come through the windows. Another way to improve curb appeal is to add fresh black mulch and fresh flowers. Black is a great contrasting color to landscaping, but that doesn't stand out against the home's exterior finishes. Fresh flowers add color and a seasonal touch to the landscaping. Moving past the front yard, the front door is the next budget-friendly item that makes a big impact. Recaulking and repainting the front door is an easy way to update the look of your front porch. Most of us have either coach lights outside by the garage or one by the front door. I find that perusing the clearance section at home improvement stores offers great clearance finds for $65 and under most days. Swapping out old builder-grade coach lights is an instant refresh for most homes and adds a really big impact. The last touch would be adding a welcoming front porch mat and a pot or two of flowers or plants to welcome guests into the home. Typically, most homeowners can make all of these changes for $500 or under, which means it's a low-budget item that can create a big change in the eyes of a buyer. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I am Angela Hornburg, broker with One West Real Estate.
Shaken or stirred, you know it's going to be good as Brian Certain serves up a drink that's smoother than a politician's promise in the cocktail of the week. Brian?
This week's cocktail of the week is the Election Day Punch. Welcome to the About Mansfield podcast, where we're raising our glasses to gratitude, gatherings, and gobble gobble good times. We'll be kicking off November with a month-long celebration of Thanksgiving-themed cocktails. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this political potable, let me explain why we're calling it the Election Day Punch. It's not because it'll knock you out like a surprise upset in a battleground state, though it might if you're not careful. No, this punch is designed to bring people together, much like we hope our nation comes together after a divisive election. It got a little bit of everything. It's just like a good campaign platform, but it packs a punch that you'll have you feeling more patriotic than a bald eagle wearing star-spangled bandana. The concept of Election Day drinks go back to the early days of American democracy. In the 18th and 19th centuries, politicians would often provide free alcohol to voters as a practice known as swilling the planters with bumbo. And while we certainly don't condone voting under the influence today, we can appreciate the spirit, pun intended, of coming together over a shared drink after the polls close. Our modern Election Day punch is a more refined affair designed to appeal to voters across the aisle, but here's what you need to make this unifying elixir. But as always, don't worry about taking notes. I'll be giving out all the ingredients and instructions and posting them on bourbongospel.com. The ingredients, 2 cups of bourbon, because really, what's more American than that? You need 1 cup of cranberry juice for just a touch of Thanksgiving flair. You need a cup of apple cider to keep the doctor away. You need a half cup of honey syrup to sweeten the deal. And a 1/4 cup of lemon juice for when life gives you lemons. You'll need 2 cinnamon sticks, 5 whole cloves, 2 star anise, 1 orange sliced, and 1 apple sliced, and then sparkling water to top the cocktail, and of course, ice. For the honey syrup, you're going to need a half a cup of honey and a half a cup of water. Now, let's walk through the democratic process of creating this punch. First, we're going to make the honey syrup by heating equal parts of honey and water until the honey dissolves, then let it cool. In a large punch bowl or pitcher, combine the bourbon, cranberry juice, apple cider, honey syrup, and lemon juice. Add the cinnamon sticks, cloves, and star anise, then throw in the apple and orange slices. Stir well and let sit in the refrigerator for at least an hour to let the flavors mingle like a post-debate handshake. When ready to serve, add generous amounts of ice to the bowl and top with some sparkling water for some effervescent excitement. Then ladle into glasses and garnish with additional orange and apple slices if desired. Then raise a glass to democracy no matter which side of the aisle you're on. Now, why is this the perfect cocktail for our Thanksgiving-themed month? First, it embodies the spirit of coming together, which is both Thanksgiving and ideally post-election times are all about. The mix of flavors represent the diversity of our nation, all working together to create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. The bourbon provides a strong foundation, much like our Constitution. The cranberry and the apple bring the taste of the harvest season, reminding us of the bounty that we're thankful for. The honey sweetens the deal without overpowering like a well-crafted compromise, and the spices add complexity and warmth, perfect for those chilly November nights while watching election returns. But most importantly, it's a punch, meant to be shared. It's not about individual glasses, but about gathering around a common bowl, just as we gather around the Thanksgiving table or metaphorically around our shared democratic ideals. The Election Day Punch is more than just a drink. It's a liquid lesson in civics and civility. It's proof that no matter how bitter the campaign trail gets, we can still come together and find our common ground, even if that ground is just the bottom of our glass. So there you have it, folks, the Election Day Punch. It's a drink that'll unite your taste buds faster than our national crisis unites a country. Whether you're celebrating victory, drowning your sorrows, or just glad that it's over, this punch is here to help you wash down that tension and toast the next 4 years. Whip up this for your post-election gatherings or your Thanksgiving festivities. It's sure to spark likely debates about whether bourbon or the apple cider is the real MVP, a much safer topic than actual politics. Next week, I'll be shaking up another Thanksgiving favorite, so make sure to tune in. And until then, happy mixing, enjoy responsibly, and remember, in cocktails, as in election, every ingredient counts. As always, I'm open to hear your take and your input. You can reach me at brian@bourbongospel.com. And until next week, as Mark Twain said, too much of anything is bad, but too much whiskey is barely enough. Reporting for the About Mansfield podcast, I'm Brian Certain.
We're back in 60 seconds with the conclusion of Steve's in-studio interview with local author Pete Hermann.
Imagine a city where innovation knows no bounds, where dreams take flight, and the future unfolds before your very eyes. Welcome to Mansfield, a beacon of growth and a testament to vision. In the heart of Mansfield, a remarkable transformation is underway. But it's not just about the physical landscape. It's about the spirit that drives us forward. A spirit of collaboration that bridges cultures, a spirit of entrepreneurship that fuels prosperity, and a spirit of community that binds us as one. Mansfield is more than just a place. It's a canvas where diversity paints the picture of progress. From art festivals that ignite creativity to tech hubs that redefine boundaries, this city celebrates every voice, every passion. Mansfield, where growth knows no limits and the vision is limitless. Brought to you by the unstoppable spirit of the Mansfield Economic Development Corporation.
Hi, I'm Scott Bowman, and you're listening to About Mansfield.
Welcome back to About Mansfield. I'm Steve Casillo. As we make the transition from news to talk today, we present part 2 of our interview with Mansfield-based local author Pete Hermann. He's the author of 2 books, Hall of Heroes and Tour of Dreams. We pick it up as we go into the book, Hall of Heroes. Enjoy. Tell me about Stan Dent, the fictional character. What role does he play? You mentioned he's a general.
They both he and the sergeant major are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
And this is what I love. The sergeant major's father was a Marine, and an incident happens where he finally sees what his father can do when he becomes a defender. And the basic line his father says to him is, "My job is a defender of America." And tonight, you and I were put in a position where I had to be a defender of you. I'm not going to let myself be put in a position where I allow others, a thug especially, to determine if we're going to live or die. I will go out swinging, and since they pulled weapons on us, I'll do what it takes to stop them. And he says, that's what you have to look at. Are you going to be a defender in your life, or are you going to be a victim?
Right.
And you pick your own, and it changes his whole thinking of what he wants to do with his life. Stan Dent, again, he has to go to the Naval Academy. It's, I'm going to put my own spin on it.
You write what you know.
Yeah. So he goes to the Naval Academy. He joins Special Marine Recon, and that's all he's ever wanted to do. And in fact, they get so good that they realize we can't leave the front lines because of what we're doing. And it would be totally unfair for us to have a family or a wife because of the danger we're always in and how we'd be away from them. And they lived their whole 20-year careers plus on the front lines with their men. They're a legend. I mean, it's totally fiction because it never happened in the military.
Right.
And they start their own thing. Stan actually saves Derek in a patrol, and it was all brought about, this is true now, which I believe, due to the inter-service rivalries and pettiness of the military that we have. Delta Force versus SEALs versus Force Recon versus whoever,
Right.
And he says they should be all one team, not different fragments. You're not saying one's better than the other. And especially the intelligence agencies. They got terrible intelligence, and that's why they were put in this position. So they now oversee everything. And so Hall of Heroes refers to a facility that Stan built for Derek and the rest of the men in this community. And I just don't want to give too much of the book away for the reason.
Oh, sure.
But it's very, very, very special. Stan wins the Medal of Honor. And I'll just say one key of it. In the facility he builds, it is on display, and it says, awarded to one, earned by all. And that's the way he feels about it. He says every man in this command should have won a Medal of Honor.
Is this book going to make me cry?
Well, no, I don't think so.
I was going to say the pause was maybe a yes, but
the book. I set up this community in the first half of the book.
Yeah,
and then boom, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, the second half of the book is really intense, and the way I finished it off, I think it's miraculous. I am so tickled pink with that. So this was only the first half of my book when I originally wrote it, but my second half, he was going to change America. Because I think America's in decline. I think society has, just from what I see from me being a child, I think society has taken a terrible tumble. Back in my day, you never worried about your kids playing out on the street or any of this. And today, we didn't have the drugs. I think heroin's the only thing we ever heard about. And you always thought that was just in New York City. And we were able to have mothers at home.
Sure.
We didn't, the pressure that there is now, I don't know how these kids do it with any kids at all today, being able to support them. So
anxiety is huge.
So I don't want to come across as an old man blasting the current. I think they're under tremendous pressure today.
Yeah.
And I'm so upset because all your current congressional leaders are old people that most older people are pretty darn good, but I look at our people in politics and they're like little feral animals to me that are self-centered instead of worrying about our country. So I have, so there's a lot of this stuff that comes across in my book, but I've already written a sequel to Hall of Heroes that is pure science. It is so
science fiction.
Science fiction that is so out there and so over the top that my brother and sister have read it and they were beside themselves. They said, Peter, I didn't think this is just tremendous. It's man learns how to speak, how to learn, how to give birth, how to get a purpose in life, how to die. Dying becomes a celebrated event.
Oh, sure. It should be.
Yeah. It's just Derek plays a big role in it. I have fun. I have fun with what I do. So.
Let's talk about Tour Dreams, Hall of Heroes. Where can one purchase your books?
Well, they're on Amazon and Kindle.
Yeah.
If people have a Kindle Unlimited, they can get them for free.
They can just read it.
Yeah,
there on their
that's where you get I think 30 books a month.
Sure,
they can do that. They are in digital form for around $6-7, and if they want the paperback, they're at $16, something like that. And even I was shocked at that price, but the person that did it for me says, Pete, for these books of this size and all, she says, you're really down toward the bottom of the pricing. So,
well, I said just looking at the books, the Hall of Heroes is probably about 300-400 pages.
Hall of Heroes is 477 pages.
477.
And I say at the back, any proceeds I get from Hall of Heroes will be donated to either Folds of Honor or Wounded Warrior or other organizations that are working for vets and injured people. So, and then I have other books though. I have a book. I'm gonna be doing different books on, and it's so easy to come up with ideas. Like one thing with all this now artificial intelligence.
Right.
How come all the great the greatest people in computers, how come they're all hackers? They can break any dang thing that we have, but we can't even find them.
Until they're arrested and then hired by the government.
Right. So I'm saying, so why aren't they using artificial? I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that like Microsoft, it's like now a 40-layer cake. They build onto the platform below it, and the early platforms were filled with openings where people can come in.
Right.
So they're trying to, why don't they put artificial intelligence on that and close all the holes? Or why can't they use artificial intelligence and go find these guys? And I'd have government hit teams going out.
Yeah.
Hacker, I'd go and eliminate them. I don't care where they're located in the world.
Just find them.
Yeah. I'm when it comes to law and order, man, I'm afraid I'm out. I'm very drastic on that. I don't see catering to the criminal at all.
Getting back to the books, and so they're both available on Amazon.
Yep.
You get them in digital form, read them on Kindle.
Yeah.
Audiobook yet?
No.
Okay.
Nothing on that yet.
We do record audiobooks.
Oh, you do here?
Right, in this very studio. So that's...
Well, I've got to talk to you about that then, because that is certainly something that I would love to have done. I have a character, the young boy that is in Tour of Dreams, I think would go to the heart. Anybody that reads, I had one friend, and I said, well, what do you think of the book? And he said, well, Pete, he said, to be honest, it sounded like something bad was going to happen. I didn't want to see it happen to any of them, so I quit reading the book.
Don't stop reading the book.
So I said, are you kidding me? I said, my books take a lot of twists and turns. And I says, give it a try at least. So, I mean, but it's funny. I come down a little bit on the Masters where I think they should change it. I'll give just one example.
Yeah.
I said, so all these guys win their green jackets. And then they have one event a year where they get to wear it to the dinner. And nobody ever sees them except the waiters at Augusta National. Every golfer in the world would love to see that dinner. Why isn't that being made known where you see the golfer outside of his professional golfing sphere? How come you don't have I says, nobody wants to go to the Masters and watch some 75-year-old hack hit it 150 yards down the fairway. It doesn't do him any good. So why don't you give the ex-champions a Wednesday afternoon? They can play 9 holes all together. Mm-hmm. People can cheer them they only have to play 3 holes. But the people can line up and see them all and cheer them all. And then during the week when the tournament's on, have stations where they sit. They don't ever get up and move. We do away with all autographs. I'm totally against autographs. They'll fist bump. They'll high five. You can have all the pictures taken with them.
Yeah.
But an autograph is so impersonal that it's no more of that stuff. People can stand around them and have pictures taken. So just things where they become more fan-friendly. Oh, and he blasts the senior tour because he says, this was supposed to have been a tour where you gave back to the fans.
Yeah.
You've turned it into another money-grubbing, self-serving piece of garbage now that it's no different from the regular tour. So
that's Jared in the book. Blasting.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. And and then I bring in the paranormal. It's funny. I've brought into the paranormal a lot of my books now, and I'm not really I don't follow a specific religion.
Uh-huh.
I'm very spiritual, but I just don't follow religion. And my books have, in fact, the one I'm working on now, where I had the thing come down, I said, would that be blasphemous or sacrilegious to write that? Because I look at God in a totally different, and I never call him God. In my books, they're always the authority, the supreme being, or the creator.
Yeah.
I never name him because I'm not trying to push any segment of people away that believe in other beliefs and everything. So I try to make them fairly. I like to make it think that they're fairly unbiased. I don't try to let my personal beliefs get into belittling anybody or so. It's a lot of fun. I'd like to do one with I like to do besides that I'd like to look at books on education. I'm going to write one there where somebody has different ideas. And what's funny is I looked it up. In Alabama, you can get a high school degree and you don't have to pass any standardized tests at all. You can just walk in and they say, okay, you got a degree today. So, I'd set up a school and it'd be kind of more on the old movie To Sir with Love with Sidney Poitier.
Sure.
Where he went into the working class London and made the kids grow up. So it's, there's a lot of different areas to get into and work off of. And it's just to me a lot of fun to try to come up with something different. And if I look at it and I'm happy with the book, you can come up and slam it every which way to heaven to me, and I'll have a smile on my face and to each his own, because
that's right.
My big comeback to them is, well, it took people 100 years to recognize the brilliance of Van Gogh. So I'll probably be dead before they realize how really great my books are.
There you go.
But I really believe if somebody with the characters I have that I could that they could make this into a TV series or a movie very, very easily. So, but again, what I'm finding out with the books is it isn't how good your book is; it's how the marketing is. It's all in the marketing.
Sure.
And my marketing is maybe F minus. I give it. So you can only do what you can do.
But your marketing is you came to me and asked to be on the podcast, and so all right, let's take you up to at least a D minus.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the first thing I've really done.
There you go.
And I have contacted Augusta. I have contacted the Medal of Honor thing. So I'm slowly.
Okay, so now we're up to a C.
Yeah, slowly trying to get it out there. But and again, I would say one thing to anybody: if you are a reader online, I can't stress enough how important it is that you leave some sort of review. Yeah. Even if it's just a couple words. And again, to me, if someone's going to critique I had one guy. He wanted it to be a grammar lesson, and this was just on a rough copy. This wasn't even a finished thing. And I says, "Well, look, somebody else handles all that garbage. I'm just caring about the creative content in it." But
the books are called Hall of Heroes and Tour of Dreams. They're both available on Amazon, and we've been talking with the author, Pete Hermann, lives right here in Mansfield, Texas,
and I think. Pretty soon, I'm going to have them in the Mansfield Library. Just on, I'll give a gift copy to them, and so people could check it out if they have any looks at that.
Fiction, I believe, is much, much more difficult to write than nonfiction. Your imagination has to be just out there, and
well, it's just fun when you can when any stupid thing you think of, you can bring it to life. You can bring it to life.
Sure.
And then you kind of massage it a little bit, and you say, that was kind of a neat little idea right there. I kind of had. So
it's kind of like writing a song.
Yeah.
But I digress. Pete, I appreciate it. I hope you sell 1 million books each. I appreciate your time. Thank you for being on About Mansfield.
Thank you very much.
Coming up next week on About Mansfield, we will talk in studio with yet another fine Mansfield resident. You will just have to tune in to find out who it is. In the meantime, this is the place where you'll hear the latest Mansfield news, talk, and information. Until then, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, engage, connect, amplify, elevate, celebrate, embrace, explore, love, or support this podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss an episode. It's free and it's easy. Head on over to our website, aboutmansfield.com. Enter your email address right there on the homepage. We will never, ever, ever, ever send you any spam. We promise.
About Mansfield is recorded at Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio. Hosts Steve Casillo and Colleen Daniel. Moment with the Mayor feature Michael Evans. Methodist Mansfield News to Know, Angel Biasatti. Mansfield Real Estate Market Update, Angela Hornburg. Cultural Arts Calendar, Tim Roberts. Cocktail of the Week, Brian Certain. Post-production editing, mixing, and mastering, Steve Casillo and Andrew Miner.
This podcast is copyrighted by Podcast Mansfield Recording Studio for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this podcast without written consent is prohibited. We thank you all for listening on behalf of the entire news team. I'm Steve Casillo, and this is About Mansfield.